Being 7 o'clock, we'll call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor Boswes.
Here?
Commissioner Baker.
Here.
Commissioner Collins.
Something's wrong. We got a little bit of
Feedback.
echo. Okay. Call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor Boswes.
Here.
Commissioner Baker.
Here.
Commissioner Collins. Commissioner Gary.
Here.
Commissioner Miller.
Here.
Commissioner Talentino.
Here.
Commissioner Torty.
Here.
I understand Commissioner Collins is on his way, I'm guessing?
I haven't heard from him.
Okay. We'll wait a bit and see if, what's going on, okay? Okay. Please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Stuck behind a train.
Oh, did you? Oh.
I got witnesses.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. We have a couple of, we have one proclamation that's scheduled and another one that we will do. In October will be the Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and we'll do that one second. The first proclamation, I-500 Volunteer Appreciation Week, and Rick Federal, Chairman of the I-500, is here, and I know he's got a number of folks with him, but if I could have Rick to the podium with me, please. I understand Rick's been on the I-500 board for 18 years and been the chairman for, I believe, around 10. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. We have a proclamation to present. Let's read that. Whereas Sault Ste. Marie's International 500 Snowmobile Race is recognized as a total volunteer project, developed and maintained by individual volunteers and commercial volunteers alike. And whereas individual citizens and commercial entities come together in support of this world-class event known as the world's oldest, longest, toughest, and most exciting snowmobile endurance race. Citizens and commercial participation generate positive revenue throughout the immediate Sault Ste. Marie community proper, eastern UP region, thus enhancing the state of Michigan's economic status. And whereas participation of citizens who have volunteered consistently for over 52 consecutive years present a positive and significant influence on younger generations, thus leading by example. And whereas the International 500 Project Incorporated, being a totally volunteer project, has been recognized by Michigan's legislative sector as Michigan's premier winter sporting event, and partnering with the Pure Michigan campaign, a legislative project designed to enhance Michigan's tourism. And whereas the commitment of volunteers is supported by the unselfish efforts and integrity each individual gives, and is to be recognized as Pure Michigan. And whereas when an International 500 prepares for each annual event, they raise awareness of the importance of the history, value this event brings to the city and to the region every winter. Now, therefore, I, Anthony G. Boswes, Mayor of the City of Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, do hereby proclaim the week in February each year as I-500 Volunteer Appreciation Week, honoring all International 500 volunteers, past, present, and future. Volunteers who give of their personal time and efforts to make this world-class event possible that benefits so many. And here, in witness thereof, I herein to set my hand and cause the seal of the city of Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, to be affixed this 7th day of October 2019. Anthony G. Boswes, Mayor. Congratulations.
Sure.
Been a long time coming. Great event. Means a whole lot to this community, and Rick will just say a few words.
Should I face people? Is that what I do? Well, first of all, I want to say thank you on behalf of the I-500, Dave Thomas, co-chairman, Carrie Bradley, as you all know, she serves on the board, amongst many others that couldn't make it tonight. But thank you so much. This is long overdue, very much appreciated, and it's so important to keep this event alive. It's so important to enhance volunteerism. It's what generates this event and makes it happen. So this is really an honor, and it represents the integrity of all the individuals of this community not only this community, but the Eastern UP region, along with local businesses that stand behind us year after year. So I can only say on behalf of the I-500 Board of Directors, all the volunteers, the sponsors, and the community I'm sure we represent, thank you very much. And this will be placed in our new building. So this is really an honor, and we just hope that volunteerism increases. We can certainly use the help. If you know people, have them come out and check us out, get on our website, and get a hold of us. But thank you to the community. Thank you again to the city and all your support, and let's just keep this thing going. Thank you very much.
Okay. And the second proclamation, Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and I believe Jessica is here. City of Sault Ste. Marie proclamation declaring October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And whereas domestic violence is a serious crime that affects people of all races, ages, gender, identities, socioeconomic levels, religions, backgrounds, beliefs, and abilities. And whereas domestic violence includes physical, emotional, social, sexual, spiritual, financial, and digital abuse, and can occur between family members, intimate partners, and within dating relationships. And whereas trauma in the home, including intimate partners who are direct recipients of violence and children who may be exposed to violence, is a threat to the safety and stability of our community. And whereas 1 in 15 children are exposed to intimate partner violence each year, and 90% of these children are eyewitnesses to this violence. Children that grow up in violent homes are believed to be abused and neglected at a rate higher than the national average, often resulting in lifelong trauma. And whereas domestic violence is widespread and is estimated that over 12 million Americans are affected each year, and whereas more than 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men in the United States report having experienced domestic violence, stalking, sexual assault, or physical assault by an intimate partner during their lifetimes. And whereas in 2018, Diane Pepper Resource Center answered 605 calls for help and provided services to 445 individuals and their children, and 2,573 shelter nights for individuals and their children. And whereas domestic violence costs the nation over $8.3 billion annually in medical expenses, police and court costs, shelters, foster care, sick leave, absenteeism, and non-productivity. And whereas intimate partner violence accounts for 15% of all violent crimes, at least 19% of reported domestic violence involves the use of a weapon, and the presence of a gun in domestic violence situation increases the risk of homicide by 500%. And whereas our law enforcement officers put their lives at risk daily responding to domestic violence incidents, and with a coordinated community effort will put a stop to this cycle of violence. And whereas Domestic Violence Awareness Month provides an excellent platform to show support for domestic violence advocates, crisis hotline staff, victim service organization, prosecutors, and law enforcement officers that serve our community and provide the residents of Sault Ste. Marie the opportunity to learn more about preventing domestic violence and to show support for the numerous organizations and individuals who provide critical advocacy, resources, hope, and assistance to victims. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Anthony G. Bosmas, Mayor of the City of Sault Ste. Marie, proclaims the month of October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and urge the citizens of Sault Ste. Marie to work together with Diane Pepper Resource Center to eliminate domestic violence from our community. In witness thereof, I hereby set my hand and cause the seal of the City of Sault Ste. Marie to be affixed this 7th day of October, 2019. Anthony G. Boscos.
I just want to thank the board, the commissioners, and everybody for every time I come up here, continually supporting our efforts in stopping domestic violence, sexual assault, stalking. We are now starting to get into human trafficking as well, which we know being on a border town is something that we have to deal with on a daily basis. So a way that we can show our support if you don't know how to help, we do an annual walk every month for Domestic Violence Awareness Month in October, and it's going to be on the 14th this year. The Advocacy Resource Center and Diane Pepler together put this on. It's free pizza dinner. You can come in, get a shirt, and we walk around the Big Bear. Pets are allowed to come. They can't come in the building, but you can bring your pets with you. but it's just a way for the city to show their solidarity in ending domestic violence. And again, thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Next, item C is public comment. Anyone wishing to speak on an agenda item, if you'd like to identify yourself at this point, and when we get to that item, we will identify you and you have a chance to speak. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak on an agenda item? Okay, thank you. And we'll move on to the consent agenda, please.
Item 1 under consent agenda, approval of city commission meeting minutes of September 16, 2019. Item 2 is acceptance of the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority meeting minutes of August 20th, 2019. Item 3, acceptance of the Community Services Board meeting minutes of August 27th, 2019. Item 4, acceptance of the Economic Development Corporation meeting minutes of August 20th, 2019. Item 5, acceptance of the Historic Structures Management Committee meeting minutes of September 25th, 2019. Item 6, acceptance of the Local Development Finance Authority meeting minutes of April 10th, 2019. Item 7, acceptance of the Planning Commission meeting minutes of May 22nd, July 25th, and August 22nd, 2019. Item 8, acceptance of the Sault Ste. Marie Housing Commission meeting minutes of July 18th and August 15th, 2019. Item 9, acceptance of the Tax Increment Authority Unit 3 meeting minutes of June 11th, 2019. Item 10, acceptance of the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting minutes of April 18th, June 20th, July 18th, and August 15th, 2019. Item 11, acceptance of resignation of Marjorie Hank from the Local Development Finance Authority and appointment of Carmen Fazzari to fill the balance of a term to expire on December 31st, 2022. Item 12, reappoint Fred Smith to the Local Development Finance Authority for a term to expire on December 31st, 2023. Item 13, schedule a public hearing for single lot assessment rolls SL2N19 and SL2W19. Item 14, authorization to apply for grant funding through Firehouse Subs LLC for the purchase of 3 Physio-Control CPR chest compression devices. Item 15, from City Attorney Canelo, Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians Methodist Mission Land Transfer. Item 16 is approval of consent agenda items.
Okay, thank you. Is there a commissioner that'd like a further explanation of an item on the consent agenda? If not, Commissioner Tuarty.
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Baker?
Yes.
Commissioner Collins?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Talentino?
Yes.
Commissioner Tuarty?
Yes.
Mayor Bosbus?
Yes. Motion carried. Thank you.
Item 1 under special orders of business, public hearing of necessity and schedule roll hearing for downtown access for place marking special assessment district.
Okay, thank you. Acting City Manager Troyer.
On this matter, City Engineer Linda Basista will present.
Okay. Evening, Linda.
Good evening, Mayor and Commission. At the September 3rd meeting, you set tonight as the public hearing date for the special assessment for the hearing of necessity for the downtown access and placemaking project. A couple of weeks ago, prior to this meeting, to the public hearing, we held a public information meeting and sent notices to all property owners in the area. And we had a handful of people, not very many showed up, but of those who in attendance, there was a lot of support for the project, and we just clarified mostly logistical questions, usually what people have at these meetings, even though it's specifically to explain the special assessment process as well. This project was broken down into 5 different special assessment districts. It's just for the streets. It's Ann Street from Ashman to Bingham, Court Street from Dawson to Spruce, and then the second court project is Spruce to Maple. Arlington from Osborne to Ashman, and Oka from Peck to Spruce. So we've got a wide variety, mostly businesses, very few homes, just a sprinkling of homes, maybe even 3 total in the whole district. So it's mostly businesses, governments, entities, and churches. So the proposed is to have a special assessment for $40 per lineal foot. And just how that relates to the overall project. The total estimated collection under special assessment would be about $164,000. That equates to less than 35% of the city's share of the overall project and less than 3% of the total project. So the estimated total project is $5.5 million. That's how much it was proposed for the grant application, although we expect it to be higher, and we'll probably be amending the budget at some point along with the grant amount. But based on the grant application estimate, $5.5 million, city share of $500,000, about 164 is proposed for special assessment. So it would be appropriate for you to close the regular meeting, open the public hearing for hearing of necessity to hear the purpose is to determine the need for the project. And then you'll set also the date for the public hearing to set the roll. And that's when the actual amount is set in which is then invoiced once the project is completed. So that would be the date for the public hearing on the roll would be for the meeting on Monday, October 21st.
Okay, thank you. Anything additionally, City Manager?
No, thank you, Linda, for that presentation. So there are 3 recommendations, and the agenda is to hold the public hearing, adopt the resolution, and then schedule the public hearing for the special assessment roll.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. At this time, we'll hold a public hearing of necessity for each of the listed projects. Is there anyone in the audience like to speak on the projects at all? Yes, ma'am. Would you, if you could come to the microphone, please?
I'm Nancy Kirkpatrick. I'm here
Thank
on
you.
behalf of the Sioux Theater and speaking in favor of the Oka Alley project. It would be very helpful to the theater, the hospital, community action, Avery Square, because right now the parking is horrible, lighting is horrible. Our students that take music lessons in the evening park in the back, and it's dangerous for them to walk from the parking lot to the theater. The plan calls for sidewalks, it calls for a park area. The grant that Kathy was talking about is for public spaces, and so there'll be I'm assuming there'll be a park, Kathy, like the one that's adjacent to the Huntington Bank where the kids during summer camps can eat lunch. So it's more than just fixing the alley. It's for parking and for public spaces as well.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, we'll close the public hearing. We have 2 recommendations. Let's go to Commissioner Gary.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion that we adopt the resolution ordering public improvements.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. Are there any questions? Commissioner Miller.
I had a question. How many letters went out to property owners for this?
Every property owner, I would assume, has had a letter. Is that correct?
Correct.
Do you,
Every affected property owner received a
do
notification.
you have a number? I mean, would it be?
You can look it up. Do you know off the top of your head, Linda?
How many?
About 70.
Okay.
May I ask another question,
Sure.
Your Honor? How many people showed up for the meeting?
think in our,
I think there was,
because the city manager is looking.
yeah,
There was a number in our thing,
it
but I
was in the
can't.
packet. 15 members of the public attended the informational session.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? We have a motion and support. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Collins,
Yes.
Commissioner Gary,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Talentino,
Yes.
Commissioner Tuorty,
Yes.
Mayor Basbas,
Yes,
Commissioner Baker.
Yes.
motion carried. Thank you. Commissioner Gary? You have the schedule.
I make a motion to schedule the public hearing for adoption of special assessment rolls for October 21st, 2019.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you.
Commissioner Gary? Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Let me move on.
okay.
Item 1, under communications, from the Planning Commission,
doing it.
recommendation to approve a lot split application submitted by Peter Bailing.
Okay, thank you. City manager.
On this matter, Community Development Director Kelly Freeman will present.
Evening, Kelly.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. So between the time that I put my PowerPoint on this computer and this meeting, this machine got swapped out, so I don't have a PowerPoint for you. We can go through it without a PowerPoint.
It was doing updates.
Was it?
Still doing updates. It's Windows 10.
Love it. So if you like, I can go down and get the PowerPoint and you can carry on with the meeting, or we can just carry on and you can go through your packets as all, I believe all the
It's
relevant
pretty
information is
self-explanatory,
in.
and I saw the, you know, the
Yeah, so
information.
this is Pete's Appliance and the land behind it, the old Woolahan lumber storage buildings. And Mr. Bailing is selling off the land behind, retaining ownership of the store for about 3 years before he more than likely sells the store to the buyer of the back portion. There is right-of-way access, so the back portion is not being cut off. However, he is putting a cross-access agreement along the west side of his property to allow freely comings and goings from 25th to the back property. Mr. Bailing's here if there's any questions of him, but otherwise, that's the very brief synopsis.
Any questions?
Thank you, Kelly.
City manager, anything else?
No, nothing is motion to approve the lot split application as submitted.
Commissioner Collins?
Make a motion to approve the lot split application as submitted.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. Are there any questions?
Still need to vote after that?
Officially, thank you. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Gary,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Talentino,
Yes.
Commissioner Tuorty,
Yes.
Mayor Basbas.
Yes.
Commissioner Baker.
Yes.
Commissioner Collins.
Yes.
Motion carried, thank you. You bet.
Item 2, under communications, from United Steelworkers Local 13635, discussion on the grievance report.
Okay, thanks. City manager?
On this matter, the union president of United Steelworkers Local 13635 has requested to address the commission.
Okay. If you'd identify yourself, we'd appreciate it.
Yes. Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. My name is Kevin Mohar, and I'm the president of United Steelworkers Local Union 13635. I represent the union employees of the city of Sault Ste. Marie and represent the 4 bargaining units of fire captains, firefighters, clerical staff, and the Department of Public Works. I'm here to make a statement about the grievance that was filed with the city and was forwarded to the City Commission for review. We understand that this is not the normal grievance process set forth in the union contracts. And usually the City Commission would not be directly involved. However, this was not an option since it directly involved the City Commissioner. The grievance committee, or the grievance procedure, is defined by the contracts as any dispute regarding the meaning, interpretation, application, or alleged violation of specific terms and provisions of the agreements with the City of Sault Ste. Marie. Grievances will be in written form, and there are a set of guidelines and steps in which they will be handled. Grievances are very important, no matter how small anyone thinks the issue is, so that we can make sure that they are heard, answered, and the record is kept for future uses or complaints. Although the City Commission has been advised of grievances in the past, they have always been kept confidential to protect the city and the workers alike. We are disappointed that this grievance was not reviewed and resolved before it became a public matter. With this grievance, we had a couple options. One was to do what we did, file the grievance with the city, have it forward to the city commission for their review. The other option was to come to the city commission meeting and make a formal public complaint. We thought with much deliberation that making a grievance in writing to be reviewed by the commission would be the best way to handle the problem. We did not want to make this a political attack on any commissioner and just wanted the issue to be taken care of and for it not to happen again. The steelworkers have refrained from being involved with local elections. It is not unheard of for a union to endorse a candidate. We have been respectful of the city commission election process, and we have not to date advised our fellow steelworkers on who to vote for. We will not read the whole grievance. That's not why we're here. But there are some comments that were made to one of our union employees during business hours, which we thought were inappropriate, and that violated the city's ethics and conduct policy. Let us be very clear. Who we vote for, or even choose to vote for, should have no impact how or if we receive a raise. Our fellow steelworkers already must reside within 20 miles of the city, which is protected under state law, and we negotiate our contracts with the city based on items like performance, scope of work, cost of living adjustments, education certifications, etc. The union did receive and has accepted an apology from Commissioner Abby Baker, and we will not read the apology letter, and the union will not release this on social media. But we do want to say we did not want to make this issue political in any nature at all. That was not the intent. I would like to add that the United Steelworkers still do not condone what was said to our union employee and will not tolerate this type of behavior in the future. We do appreciate that Commissioner Baker was able to apologize and have the matter settled rather quickly. The other issue with the grievance is how it was handled after the last city commission meeting. We are disappointed that the actual grievance document from the United Steelworkers was released on social media. This is not the way to protect our city employees, and it discourages them from reporting problems. This could also lead to online harassment, which we do not need. We realize the documents given to the city commission may be available to the public with the Freedom of Information Act. But just because the document could be requested through the Freedom of Information Act does not mean that the document will get released publicly. Our document was a summarized version of events meant to bring on a broad discussion of the situation and our concerns. We felt this document did not need to be released in this way. We understand that some of the other commissioners are just as upset as we were about what happened, but we do not agree with it being released out on social media in any fashion. Now that this has happened, I have heard from some of our other union employees that if this is how things will be handled in the future, they will not want to bring anything forward again. This is very concerning to me as a union president and should be concern for you guys as commissioners. We cannot tolerate any harassment either in person or online for the work that we provide the city of Sault Ste. Marie. We ask that our documents are kept confidential, and we do not want any of our grievances to become public until they have been fully resolved as outlined in our contract. The union in the city has had a very excellent working relationship for many years, and we would like to see this continue. We are the ones that are out there doing the work, dealing with the citizens firsthand, and enforcing the policies, procedures, rules, and laws that is set forth by the city commission. Sometimes these jobs are not as rewarding as some would think, and we get blamed for many of the issues that do arise. We have an ethical responsibility to provide the best service we can to the cities of Sault Ste. Marie, and this should also apply to the city commissioners in this room. We hope that we can continue to work in a safe and harassment-free workplace to make the city run as smoothly and as efficiently as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin.
Is there any questions?
Okay. I appreciate those words, and I would think that in the future, I would hope that in a work session going forward, and I certainly won't be part of the commission at that point, but I think with social media and all the stuff that these phones can now do, I think it'd be a good idea to have some professional come in and talk about what's what's the appropriate for a public body to be involved in that kind of a situation, because it's getting to be, you know, it can be a whole lot worse, I guess, in my mind. And I'm a babe in the woods and all that stuff, so just thank you for those comments. Okay. We're in the city manager's report.
All right, first item under the city manager's report is award a bid for police car, laptops, and mounting equipment, and authorization of a budget amendment for the Windows upgrade project. On July 23rd, the city clerk's office opened sealed bids for the purchase of 6 police car Dell Latitude 5420 and mounting equipment. 2 bids were received. However, they did not meet specifications, so we later released a second bid request on September 12th in the city clerk's office. We received 1 bid, but it was sent via email and not sealed as the proposal noted. Following the 2 rounds of sealed bids, the IT director, Bonnie Raphael, reached out to Dell for a quote which was provided at a cost of $18,753.24. So the first motion of this action is to award the bid of the 6 police laptops and mounting equipment in the amount of $18,753.24 to Dell. The second item in this agenda is, in May of 2019, Microsoft announced that they would no longer support Windows 7 effective January of 2020. Therefore, IT implemented a plan to ensure compatibility for all computers citywide, which required an unbudgeted expenditure in the IT budget. It was recommended that the City Commission authorize a budget amendment in the amount of $32,000 for the Windows 10 upgrade project, and that would be the second motion for the Commission's consideration this evening.
Okay, thank you. There are 2 motions. There are 2 recommendations with 2 motions. Let's go to Commissioner Baker.
Motion to award bid to Dell for 6 police laptops and mounting equipment in the amount of $18,753.24.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Talentino,
Yes.
Commissioner Tuorty,
Yes.
Mayor Bosbus.
Yes.
Commissioner Baker,
Yes.
Commissioner Collins,
Yes.
Commissioner Gary.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Commissioner Baker?
Motion to approve the budget amendment in the amount of $32,000.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. Any questions? Question, Commissioner Collins.
So the budget amendment is for $32,000, but it doesn't say where the $32,000 is gonna come from. Does it come from the general fund?
It's coming from the IT fund, and there's a sufficient amount in the IT fund to support the additional expenditure.
How much is in the IT fund?
I would have to,
So is that
Bonnie has it.
130 plus?
I mean, is that a fund balance,
yes,
basically?
it's a fund balance in the IT budget.
130 by the end of this year? With the 32,000 out of it?
As far as I'm aware.
So 130,000 at the end of the year, once we take the 32,000 out. So it's worth 162 right now?
All I received from Director Collins was at it would be at 130,000.
Okay. So I'm assuming that it's basically after the 32,000, so, okay, thank you.
Okay. From now on, we'd have to come to the microphone so we don't, okay? Thanks. Anything else?
No.
We have a motion to support? Is there a motion yet? Okay. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Talentino,
Yes.
Commissioner Tuorty,
Yes.
Mayor Bosbus.
Yes.
Commissioner Baker.
Yes.
Commissioner Collins,
Yes?
Commissioner Gary.
Yes. Motion carried. Thank you.
The second item under the city manager's report is authorization to adjust city healthcare thresholds effective January 1, 2020. The city commission, in accordance with various collective bargaining agreements and established practice, has previously defined thresholds as the amount of money that the city will expend on a monthly basis to provide each of the employees and their dependents healthcare insurance. Specifically, the thresholds currently in place for the city is $445 monthly for single $1,058 for employees receiving a two-person coverage, and $1,344 for employees receiving family coverage. As the commission is also aware, a special health determining committee consisting of the city manager, the city attorney, and a representative from each of the city's bargaining units, as well as a representative from the non-union group and the non-union non-department head group, and a representative for the department heads have worked over the course of the past 10 years to research and select the health care plans that are offered to city employees. The Special Health Determining Committee has met several times over the last month to review the current plans and the proposed plans for the coming year. And Lee Brown and Denise from Superior Insurance is in the audience as well. They are our agents, and they work with the Special Health Determining Committee to select the best plan options for the coming plan year. Our plan premiums are based on our experience. Last year was kind of a rough year, so we've seen this year our premiums on the upswing. So the committee has met to try to contain that cost and select plans that, you know, are suitable for the employees, that provide good coverage at a reasonable cost for them. The Special Health Determining Committee will meet again on the 16th, pending the commission's action this evening to authorize an increase to the thresholds, and then we'll set those plans for the coming plan year to be effective January 1 of 2020. The plans that they're looking at would be, the core plan is traditionally offered as a free plan, giving an option to employees to select a free plan with a higher copay or higher deductibles, and that would be looking at transitioning to a Simply Blue, which would have a $2,000 deductible and a 20% copay. The mid plan would be a $2,500 deductible and a 20% copay, and the high plan is a $1,000 deductible and a 20% copay. Now, the core plan is offered at free cost. The mid plan and the high plan have employee contributions to them. So, for example, the high plan this year, the employee contribution almost doubled. And so for an employee to elect the high plan to maintain that lower deductible or coinsurance, it's $180 per paycheck for that employee to select that plan. Effective January 1, the monthly premium for the core plan for single coverage is projected to be about $507. The two-person is $1,270, and the family is $1,530. Accordingly, administration is recommending that the City Commission increase the thresholds from one person from $445 to $507. Two-person, $1,058 to $1,208, and raise the family threshold from $1,344 to $1,531. And these also include base dental and comprehensive vision benefits in those plans. It's also important to note that the state annually sets thresholds, and the proposed recommendation for increase is within those boundaries under PA Public Act 152 of 2011. So the threshold increase as proposed, they still fall within those requirements under PA 152. So my recommendation would be to authorize the increase as outlined for the one-person, two-person, and family coverage effective January 1, 2020. And I think it's important to note that the Special Health Determining Committee has really worked hard to contain the cost. There's been very moderate increases that the committee has come before the commission to ask for increases. When the committee hasn't needed an increase, they've come back to the commission and they've decreased those thresholds. So it's important to note that the committee really takes it in, a thorough look at this, and they don't come and ask for an increase unless an increase is warranted. So my recommendation would be to increase it based on the review and recommendation from the Special Health Determining Committee.
Okay, thank you. So Commissioner Talentino.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd make a motion to authorize the increase in monthly thresholds for one-person coverage from $445 to $507. Two-person-
Support.
Let's continue.
Not done.
Not quite done.
Not done.
Two-person coverage from $1,058 to $1,208, and raise the threshold of family coverage from $1,344 to $1,531.
Go ahead.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. Are there any questions? Commissioner Collins?
The costs that we just spoke about, those are actually costs to the city, not the employees, correct?
Right, the costs that we spoke about, the impact to the city, not taking into consideration the impact to the employees, is about $9,300 monthly, or about $112,000 annually. And talking with the finance director, there is sufficient funds in the healthcare fund to take into account those increases, and we will be coming back to outline that in a quarterly review for the commission.
So, thank you for that, because that was going into my next question. So basically, it's not gonna have an impact on the 2020 budget then, as far as, we're not gonna have to do a budget amendment or so forth, because it's gonna come out of the fund balance in the health, correct?
Correct, but we will have a budget amendment coming before the commission at the next quarterly review, because we'll have to account for that increase in the budget.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Talentino?
Yes.
Commissioner Tuorty?
Yes.
Mayor Boswis?
Yes.
Commissioner Baker?
Yes.
Commissioner Collins?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. That concludes the city manager's report.
Correct, Your Honor.
And at this point, status report, next meeting, I understand we'll have an update on the business spur project?
Yep, so I've requested MDOT to attend the upcoming commission meeting to provide an update on the I-75 Business Spur project, kind of see where they'll finish out the construction season and what they anticipate, if anything, coming back to finish up next year. So they'll be in attendance at the next meeting to provide a update.
Okay, thank you. Item I, matters presented by the public.
Linda would like to give an update.
Oh, Linda wants to give an update? Okay. Thank you.
Good evening again. Rather than wait for the MDOT press release to come out, which they sometimes are slow on the uptake, they're going to start doing the final paving this week. So they'll be starting tomorrow, doing some of the main line in the north portion of the project. The roundabout, they're going to be doing the final paving probably on Wednesday. Folks should know that 30-mile road leg of the roundabout will be closed while they're doing that final paving. Travelers should seek an alternate route for the 3-mile road leg. The Mackinac Trail leg will also be closed while they're doing that final paving. That will be a detour to M129 from 6 Mile Road. And then that should take place Wednesday, maybe into Thursday, but when they're not paving, it'll be open. And then the rest of the week, well, they'll be doing driveways and so forth. So expect major, delays while they're paving, because it's just a lot of trucks, a lot of equipment, a lot of stuff going on while they're paving, but just and if the weather holds out, it'll be, final paving will be done this week.
Excellent, thank you. Matters presented by the public. Is anyone in the audience like to make a comment at this time? Chief. Police Chief John Riley.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners.
Evening.
I believe at your next commission meeting, we will have a new city manager in place?
Yes.
I believe so. I'd like to take this opportunity on behalf of all the department heads and city employees to thank Robin Troyer. She stepped up to fill in during the city manager absence. It took some nudging from a few of us, but I think she's done a fabulous job, and she deserves a round of applause.
No question. Yes, she has, and we could have mentioned that in the commission time, but thank you, Chief, because she has done just another excellent job, and Robin continues to be do those kind of jobs. So we do appreciate it as a commission, as a city, as a residents of the city, and certainly the staff. So thank you very much. And our new city manager, Brian Chapman, will be here on the 14th, next Monday. And then the following commission meeting, he will be in attendance. So great. Okay. Public. Anyone in the public like to make a comment at all? Besides the chief. Okay. Matters presented by the city commission. I just have, a number of commissioners thought the ferrochrome plant across a river that's being proposed, we have some information from Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, and Economic Development Corporation. And I understand with social media, there's a lot of discussion out there. This is the actual information that has been put out by, and I'm just going to take a couple of items that I wanted to mention while we're on the air. And it's a news release that was released by the City of Sault Ste. Marie and Economic Development Corporation in Sault, Ontario. Moving forward, it's important to recognize the following. The project is subject to rigorous provincial and federal assessments and permitting processes. These processes will be lengthy and provide an opportunity for community input. The City of Sault Ste. Marie and the MEDC have made it clear to Noront that they will not support the construction of the ferrochrome plant. In Algoma's property, the city and the EDC believes or has reason to believe that the operation will have an adverse effect on people's health, or if the City of Sault Ste. Marie is not satisfied with the facility, can operate safely. So that pretty much says it in a nutshell. They're going to have a number of public meetings. I understand City Manager Troyer has been in contact with their person over there, manager over there, and Al, and he will keep us abreast of those public sessions. But all in all, it's moving forward, but there's a lot of steps, and they're saying, and on the outside, on the earliest it would be 5 years before any ground would be turned, and it more likely would be between 7 and 10 years before we see any real, if it even happens. So there's a lot of things that have to occur before then, and a lot of people have to be satisfied before then, and they also have to live with what they reap for the most part. So it'll be, if it ever happens, I have a lot of confidence in their ability to make sure it's safe. And going forward, we'll just there'll be a lot of information, I'm sure. So, okay, thank you, Commissioner Baker.
I just wanted to mention the Unchained fashion show that happened this weekend at the Country Club that Shelley Bishop and Tara, I can never pronounce her married name, but Bailing, Pete's daughter there from Fat Closet, put on this weekend for families with infertility problems. It was just a fantastic night, and kudos to those ladies to put on a great show, and lots of little girls and kids involved with it, so it was a really fun night out at the Country Club, and they raised a lot of money for a very worthy family, so very inspiring, and thanks for their vision.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Commissioner Miller.
Thank you, Your Honor. I want to thank the president of USW Local 13635 for his comments, and I agree with you that things like this aren't supposed to be political. They should be resolved first before they're talked about. On that same note, I felt the very next day after I read your grievance here at the commission meeting, I believe I was attacked personally. I just want to say that no commissioner on this board or any special interest group in this town can strong-arm me either way. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Gary.
I make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Support.
Been moved, supported. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned.